Let's just put you on mute. I want to put my stuff on mute. Okay, welcome anyone on YouTube to our evening meditation. So I'm just going to mute everyone so we don't have, if it causes any issues, just unmute yourself.
I've put my clock out the room.
Great.
Well done.
Well done. Okay, I'm allowing you to unmute yourself, so you're all muted. And let's get started. Hey, so welcome to your evening meditation, everyone. Just sitting comfortably. Put your feet shoulder width apart, cup your hands in your lap. Keep your back reasonably straight, shoulders back, support your back if you need to. Close your eyes, make sure you put your phone on mute or silent before you do this so you won't be disturbed for the next 25 minutes or so. And just start off by taking a nice deep breath in. So connecting with your breath. Just breathing in. Through the nose, notice how the stomach rises. And the second phase of the breath is into the heart center. Feel this life energy rising up into your chest and up into the head. Just pause at the top of the inhale. Do a little scan of your mind, so just noticing any obviously distracting thoughts or emotions. So it's thoughts about the past, thoughts about the future, emotions that go with that. So maybe some resentment about what's happened. Could have arisen today, could be something that's long-standing. If you focused on the future, then often there's anxiety, there's fear. Just notice how these thoughts and these emotions feel. Notice how they show up in your body. So maybe there's a tightness in your stomach, in your chest, clenching of your jaw, sweaty palms, anything like that. And now just, as you exhale, blow it all out with the breath. Just exhaling, releasing. Letting it all go. Imagine you blowing out this negativity like black smoke out of your mouth. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. Let's find some stillness. Imagine your mind is like a still calm lake on a windless day. And into that still, calm, empty, open, spacious awareness, you're going to drop today's ideas. So to start with, I'm going to read you a preliminary section to the series of workbook lessons we're on at the moment from Course in Miracles, for those out on YouTube. And it's entitled, What is the World? So just keep watching your breath as you listen to these words. Just letting the breath breathe you. So you just step back. Just watch how this nice, deep, rhythmical pattern of breathing just happens to you, through you, and for you. So stomach rises. As you breathe in, chest rises, you feel the life energy rising up. Like the cresting of a wave. Final sip of air into the head. Just pause there briefly. Connect with the stillness and the gap between breaths. You can really connect with this deeper stillness. And then you exhale. Just sighing it all out. Getting a little sighing sound in the back of your throat. Chest and stomach suck back in. Notice the subtle flow of air out of your nostrils. And again, find the stillness at the bottom of the exhale. So remind yourself there's really nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, nothing else to think about for the next 20 minutes or so. Just breathe, relax, and be still. And let these words just permeate into that stillness. Best way to listen is not to try and consciously understand, rationalize, intellectualize, evaluate, analyze, compare, contrast, any of these normal functions of our mind, what we think of as normal. It's just about letting these things, these ideas just sink in to your balls, just dropping into this very still, calm pond of your mind. Because it's so still, the ripple effects are very noticeable. Each idea is like a little pebble that's going to penetrate all the way to the bottom of the pond, to the depths of your subconscious mind, where it's needed, where your ego's thought system resides and where it needs to be undone. So just keep watching your breath as you listen, letting the breath just connect you to this nice, calm, peaceful state. Just let the words sink in. I'll remind you to keep watching your breath from time to time. So as I said, the section is, what is the world? So let's hear what Jesus has to say in answer to that question. The world is false perception. It is born of error and it has not left its source. It will remain no longer than the thought that gave it birth is cherished. When the thought of separation has been changed to one of true forgiveness, will the world be seen in quite another light, and one which leads to truth, where all the world must disappear and all its errors vanish. Now its source is gone, and its effects are gone as well. So just pause, watch your breath, find the stillness. Remind yourself there's nowhere else to go, nothing else to do for the next 20 minutes or so. Just breathe, relax, and be still. So watch your breath, let these words sink in to this very still, calm, open space in your mind. So let's continue. The world was made as an attack on God. If you prefer to use the word love for God, you can do that. So the world was made as an attack on love. It symbolizes fear. And what is fear except love's absence? Thus the world was meant to be a place where God or love could enter not, and where his Son could be apart from him. Here was perception born, for knowledge could not cause such insane thoughts. But eyes deceive and ears hear falsely. Now mistakes become quite possible, for certainty has gone. The mechanisms of illusion have been born instead, and now they go to find what has been given them to seek. Their aim is to fulfill the purpose which the world was made to witness and make real. They see in its illusions but a solid base where truth exists, upheld apart from lies. Yet everything that they report is but illusion, which is kept apart from truth. So just pause and reflect on that. Watch your breath. What he's saying is pretty radical. Our eyes, our ears, our body senses are designed to fulfill the purpose which the world was made to witness and make real. A lie. A lie about who we are, what reality is. A lie that's intended to keep love or God out of our awareness. Perpetuated by sense perceptions we have of the world that is apparently real. And everything that they report is but illusion which is kept apart from truth, as Jesus says so clearly. But as sight was made to lead away from truth, it can be redirected. Sounds become the call for God or love, and all perception can be given a new purpose by the one whom God appointed Savior to the world. Follow his light and see the world as he beholds it. Hear his voice alone in all that speaks to you. And let him give you peace and certainty, which you have thrown away, but heaven has preserved for you in him. Let us not rest content till the world has joined our changed perception. Let us not be satisfied until forgiveness has been made complete. And let us not attempt to change our function. We must save the world. For we who made it must behold it through the eyes of Christ, of your higher self, if you prefer, that what was made to die can be restored to everlasting life. So just return your awareness to your breath, noticing the stomach rise, the chest rise, subtle flow of air into the nostrils, pause, and the stillness, exhale, sighing it all out. Stomach and the chest suck back in. Finding this nice, calm, empty, spacious awareness, the peace that comes with it. Just take a nice deep breath in through the nose, filling up the lower stomach. Imagine it's life energy, it's like a wave just rising up. The breath into your heart center, to your upper chest and your head. Take another sip of air at the top. Find some stillness. And then just drop in today's workbook lesson 249 into this calm, peaceful stillness. Forgiveness ends all suffering and loss. So just scan your mind and notice any thoughts of suffering, thoughts, feelings, emotions that you could call suffering. And that's really anything that's not perfectly happy, peaceful, joyful. It's an element of suffering. So even a minor irritation is a form of suffering. Pay attention, start paying attention to these little scraps of suffering. Come from the idea of loss. We only suffer when we think we, our separate selves, have lost something that we value. So just be willing to let go of the idea that suffering and loss are real as you exhale. Just letting this particular form of suffering, forms if you identified more than one, just letting them go with the breath. Imagine you blowing them out like a black smoke out of your mouth, and leaving out of every pore of your body, every cell and every muscle is free. Free of this negativity. Remind yourself at the bottom of the exhale. Forgiveness ends all suffering and loss, not just some of it, all of it. So any suffering and loss, forgiveness can end. It's another way of stating the lesson, which is extremely good news. So just keep watching your breath, breathing again in that nice deep rhythmical pattern. In through the nose, feel the stomach pushing out. Breathing into your heart center, to the upper chest, into the head. Pause, find the stillness. And you exhale, sigh it all out, make a sighing sound in the back of your throat. Just keep your mouth closed, notice the air flowing out of your nostrils. Chest and stomach gently suck back in. So keep watching your breath. Just listen to short explanatory words on today's lesson. So Jesus tells us forgiveness paints a picture of a world where suffering is over. Loss becomes impossible, and anger makes no sense. Attack is gone, and madness has an end. What suffering is now conceivable? What loss can be sustained? The world becomes a place of joy, abundance, charity, and endless giving. It is now so like to heaven that it quickly is transformed into the light that it reflects. And so the journey which the Son of God began has ended in the light from which he came. Amen to that. Let's take another nice deep breath in. Just feel like you're breathing in this light, this joy, abundance, charity. Another word is love, compassion, endless giving. Just breathing it into your stomach, to your heart center, to your head. Imagine this light infusing every cell, every muscle of your body. Every pore, every cell, every muscle is infused in this joy, this peace, this light. Imagine a beautiful golden white light. It's filling you up. Your mind is very quiet, filled with this light. And this is the light from which you came. So say this little prayer and then we'll just sink into this light for a minute. Maybe 2 minutes of silence to finish the meditation. So say, Father, I would return my mind to you. I betrayed it, held it in a vice of bitterness and frightened it with thoughts of violence and death. Now would I rest again in you, as you created me. Say that, and then exhale. Just letting go of everything. Imagine that all darkness is leaving you. Okay, if it helps you, you can imagine blowing out a black smoke. Dark energy leaving every pore of your skin, every cell of your body. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Smell the last remaining air out. And now just breathing normally in and out through your nose as you did before. Just give yourself a couple of minutes to sink in to this light, to this place of joy, abundance, charity, and endless giving. So it's all within you. Just have to give yourself the time, the space to experience it, to allow it to arise. So you're just going to be very quiet, step back, watch your breath, notice the stomach rise, chest rise, subtle flow of air into your nostrils. Pause for a few moments, connect with the stillness, and then exhale, sigh it all out. Notice the subtle flow of air out of your nostrils, chest, stomach suck back in. Remind yourself there's really nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, be still. Surrender into this place of joy, abundance, charity, and endless giving. Into the light. For the next 2 minutes of silence. If any thoughts, distracting thoughts or emotions arise, just gently notice them and let them go, returning all your attention to the breath. Just imagine they're blowing away like clouds. What's eternal, the sky of your mind, your true awareness is completely unaffected by any of these. Just sink into the stillness. Keep watching your breath for another minute. So just gently coming back into an awareness of the body. So noticing the breath again. Stomach rise, chest rise. Subtle flow of air into your nostrils. Let's connect with the stillness. And then exhale, just sighing it all out. And the chest and the stomach suck back in. Pause again at the bottom of the exhale. So that's 1. On the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 2, just noticing all your other body senses. So notice what you're touching and feeling. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, a smell in your nose. Notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. Notice what you're hearing. Just tuning into these very subtle sounds and sensations in your immediate environment. Maybe you hear the ticking of a clock, the whirring of a computer fan. Traffic in the distance. But notice that you're just noticing these things. There's no attempt to judge them, label them, interpret them, evaluate them. It's really our mind's interpretation of events and our sense perceptions of what's apparently happening that causes the suffering. So just practice this non-judgmental perception at the end of every meditation to start retraining your mind to just perceive in this very clear, still way. Notice how peaceful that is. So 3, opening your eyes. And now just look around. So you're just going to notice whatever happens to be in your surrounding area. And we're going to practice today's workbook lesson for the Art of Letting Go course. Trialise, and that's Carol. But it's a great practice. So just look around. Remind yourself that I've given everything I see all the meaning that it has for me as you just glance around the room. And then apply the idea specifically to whatever your eyes happen to rest on. So I've given this glass all the meaning it has for me. I've given this table all the meaning it has for me. I've given this computer all the meaning it has for me, and so on. And then extend the range a bit further so you can look behind you, look at what's in the room behind you, apply it to whatever you see, further feel in front of you. Just do it for another 30 seconds or so. It's very casually, so there's no attachment, investment in anything. You don't select anything or not want to choose anything. The idea is applied completely indiscriminately to all of it. And notice as you're doing this how it makes you feel. Maybe a little bit strange, part of your mind like, this is a bit weird. But just notice that. Maybe you feel quite detached. Maybe there's a sense of an underlying peace. So when you relinquish your own judgment about your own interpretation of sense perceptions, that's the road to freedom. So then you can find freedom that is beyond the senses and beyond the mind's interpretation or perception of the senses. That's what all spiritual practices really point to. It's this innate freedom in the mind, freedom from all fear and pain and suffering and loss. And all forgiveness does is it lets go of your belief, your attachment to or investment in these misperceptions. So I hope that's helped you to let go of a little bit more suffering and misperceptions of loss, that you can actually lose anything. So if you're an eternal, perfect creation, then loss is impossible. You cannot lose your true identity. So all suffering and loss must be unreal or illusion, which is why forgiveness can end them. If they were real, then there would be no possible end to them. So just recall this lesson for the rest of the evening, just to help you, especially if anything shows up to test you, to challenge you, to cause any kind of suffering, even a minor twinge of annoyance is a form of suffering. Just notice these things. All it takes is a moment, a breath. You say, breathe in, you close your eyes. Forgiveness ends all suffering and loss, including this, which means that I can let it go. So then you exhale, and you just blow it out, letting go of that feeling, the misperception that created it, the misperception that you can lose, that there's a separate self that can lose. It's all tied up to the ego's self-concept. You let it all go. Blow it all out with a breath and find some stillness. And then go on with your evening. So I wish you a very forgiving and peaceful evening in which you really come together, an experiential taste of the freedom that forgiveness brings, because it can end all your suffering and all misperceptions of loss. So thank you for listening, and wish you a very peaceful evening. Hope to connect with you tomorrow. So 12:30 UK, 1:30 SA time. We're doing an afternoon meditation, and then again in the evening at 5 p.m. UK, 6 p.m. SA time in the Zoom room. If you're out there on YouTube, thank you for listening. And if you want to do more than just watch on YouTube, you're welcome to join us in the Zoom room. Just go to freemeditations.online, freemeditations.online to find out more and register, and you'll get an email to sign up. The details that allow you to join us. And hope to connect with you soon again. Otherwise, I'll be broadcasting these every night on YouTube. So log into my channel. Thanks for listening. Peace.